Welcome to the DBB newsroom. I am Myat. In our newsroom today is Harn Yawnghwe, founder and director of Euro-Burma Office. Thanks for joining us today, Uncle.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, I would like to start with the, Burma changing conflict dynamic. If you compare with the conflict dynamic before 2021 and now, what is the changing dynamic in Myanmar ongoing conflict?
In the past, it was the Tamador fighting the ethnic armed groups. And the ethnic armed groups were fighting to get their rights, to try to make Myanmar a federal country. But right now, the difference is that the Myanmar is attacking their own people. Not only the ethnic people, but also the Burma majority. And they are not attacking the armed groups, the groups that are fighting them, but they are targeting civilians. So that is the change, where the population in general are no longer happy and accepting of the military.
Do you find any way that we can change this conflict dynamic?
Right now, people are concerned about instability in Myanmar. But the main cause of the instability is not any other group but the Tamador itself, the military itself. So if you want to change the dynamic, the military has to stop attacking the civilians, the people, because without doing that, there is no way to change the dynamic.
How should Myanmar neighboring countries think about their policy toward Myanmar, or how they should reassess their policy toward Myanmar?
Well, in the past, the neighboring countries and also the international community as a whole used to think that the Myanmar military is going to be able to control the situation in the country. They were able to control it quite a bit in the past because the people were supporting the Myanmar military. But now, as I said, the military is fighting their own people, and they are losing support and they are losing ground. They are losing a lot of territory. So it means that it is no longer certain that the Myanmar military will continue to be able to control the situation. So all the neighboring countries and the international community need to start thinking, is there another way to bring stability back? Or is the only option to support the Myanmar military? And I think that is where it's the crux of the matter. Is there another, if the military is not able to control, is there an alternative?
At the same time, Myanmar military never consider revolutionary force as a threat to their power. It's before 2021. But now, as you said, the conflict dynamic is changing. And what is the turning point in this revolutionary time? What is the difference between, before 2021 and now?
I think the main difference is that although the people in the past may not like military rule, they were still accepting the basic concept that the Myanmar military is there to protect them. The Myanmar military is there to protect the country. But now that is gone. People no longer believe that because they can see it with their own eyes that the Myanmar military is not protecting them. And they are now questioning whether the Myanmar military is actually protecting the country or is it making the country worse.
Do you see any prospect that Myanmar will become kind of Balkan?
The international community is scared of balkanization. They don't want an existing country to break up. They need to look at the cause of the balkanization that they're afraid of. And they are only waking up to the danger now after 10/27 because everything is in the news and they can see what is happening. But if you look back into the past, you can see that balkanization in Myanmar did not start with 1027. It started quite a while ago because the Myanmar military was not able to actually solve the problem, but made the problem worse. And I would say that the 2008 constitution also officially made the country divided. So it's not that now it's happening now, so you have to do something. But it has been happening for a while, and the military is the main cause. So they need to look at what is the alternative. And I think the different forces fighting the military are really not fighting to break up the country. They really want to have a new system to build Myanmar into a stronger nation. And that is something the international community should take into account and see how that can happen.
And experts on federalism suggest that bottom-up federalism approach is suitable for Myanmar. So how do you think of that model, bottom-up federalism approach?
The Myanmar military's approach and also the Myanmar government's approach in the past was that if you want federalism, we will give you some power. We will divide the power between us and you. But the actual situation on the ground is that the central government and the military no longer control all the territory of Myanmar. Whether we like it or not, there are many emerging territories who are self-governing and they protect their own territory and their own people. Now, if you really want Myanmar to still exist as a country, you need to accept that reality. There are many areas that the Thammador no longer controls. Is there a way to bring them together? Federalizing or bringing them together might be one way. Or if you don't do that, if you don't do a bottoms-up bringing everybody together, and you don't accept that there are already many different groups, then it will continue breaking up because there's no force to bring them together.
What is the role of EBO to bring all these different forces together in this Spring Revolution period?
Yeah, we have always worked to bring people together. And not only we've believed that if we want democracy, political parties, civil society groups have to be involved. And we have always worked with armed groups to work with civil society, work with political parties. And during the negotiations with the Thein Sein government, that was also our role, trying to bring not only the armed groups and the military to talk together, but to bring in political parties and civil society. So we are continuing in that role, where we are hoping that political voices that are not armed, civil society groups that are not armed can participate in the process, and that some kind of a credible alternative to military rule can be agreed amongst all the actors, and that we will then be able to get the support of the international community to build a new nation that doesn't have armed force, army, or any other groups deciding, but that we can have the voice of the people heard.
Thank you, Uncle. If you have any things to add before we close?
Yes, I am a bit concerned now that there are credible reports that there are now problems in Rakhine State between the Rakhine and the Rohingya, and that is something that should not happen. Because if we are trying to build a new country with everybody involved, then we need to be able to demonstrate that we really can live together without the army. If we cannot live together, then the army's claim that they have to be there to protect the country becomes real. We all know that the army is not protecting the country, but we have to show that we can live together with different races, different religions, and I think that is very important for Myanmar as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uncle. Thanks for sharing your time with us.